Okay, so let's continue on with the second of the, at the present, duology of the Kiyoshi novels. They might release a third one by the time this video comes out. Not sure. Kind of hope that they do, though. Yes, I say second because I hear word more Avatar books are coming out, and I don't know at the time if they're going to continue Kiyoshi's story or focus on another Avatar. But never minding that, let's talk about the book that we have today. So, as for plot, this one takes place sometime after Kiyoshi has established herself as the Avatar at the end of the last book. She basically works in Ba Sing Se, taking out bandits and starting to clean up the city, at least a little bit. She also does clear out one of those dangling threads from the last book, namely the bandit that she kind of became that she kind of worked for. Not the bandit crew she formed, but the specific bandit leader. But she's also really worried about the Yoon situation that basically is left unresolved from the last book. As you probably don't know if you didn't read it, Yoon, who was Kiyoshi's friend and believed to have been the Avatar until she was revealed to actually have been the Avatar the entire time, was left to die at the hands of a spirit by their mentor before he, at the end of the book, was revealed to very much be alive and got revenge on his mentor for basically abandoning him to die. But no one's essentially found anything about, well, basically no one's found him at all since his return. Of course, barely anyone's actually looking for him, considering the whole incident surrounding him to be a giant embarrassment because they misidentified the Avatar of all people. It's during this whole situation of Kiyoshi basically trying to ignore her feelings and just dive herself up into work that she gets an invitation from the Fire Nation. As, well, she's been too busy dealing with the Earth Kingdom situation and trying to resolve everything around there, as the Earth Kingdom is in chaos at the moment. Well, not as much chaos as she's dealt with a lot of it. While she's there, she ends up getting wrapped up in a political mess. Well, in the Fire Nation, she gets wrapped up inside a giant political mess. As it turns out, the current Fire Lord is having some issues. His older half-brother is wanting to claim the throne and causing some passive-aggressive trouble to do it. One early scene is him basically getting Kiyoshi to misidentify him as the Emperor. As the Fire Lord, which basically lets him brag that he has the Avatar's blessing to become Fire Lord, much to everyone else's annoyance. Although more and more people are siding with him. I should mention that at the present, the current Fire Nation, or present in terms of the book, the current Fire Nation runs less on a centralized worship the Fire Lord as we see in the Avatar Last Airbender series, but more in a clan system. Basically, every territory has its major family or clan at the head of it, and the Fire Lord serves as a central power source that unifies all the clans of the Fire Nation, and serves as a central unifying figure and sole authority. Well, quote-unquote sole authority, even though basically all the clans don't have to defer to him. So he's not the 100% autocrat he is in the series major, or monarch he is in the standard series, but he does have some powers and almost serves as a figurehead instead of the true leader that he actually will become. What makes matters worse for the current Fire Lord, outside of his whole country basically being divided between himself and his half-brother and on the verge of civil war, is Yoon showing up and crashing the royal party as he's out to kill the people who propped him up as the Avatar in order to basically get his revenge for everything that happened. He actually kills one of the Beifongs in this attack scene and tries to go after, and basically plans to go after all his old teachers as well. Also combined with some mysterious happenings that are blamed on the spirits, yeah, everything's not looking so great for the current Fire Lord. And as I said earlier, the Fire Nation is on the verge of civil war because of it. So of course, as the Keeper of Balance, Kiyoshi has to deal with the whole political situation, as well as keeping her mother-in-law. If you don't remember, she is Hairan, who was Rangi's mother, who was Kiyoshi's friend / later girlfriend in her book. She has to keep Hairan safe from Yoon, as she is also one of Yoon's vengeance targets. because again, she was one of the teachers who propped him up as the Avatar. Oh, and to make matters worse, Kiyoshi's having a hard-ass time connecting to the previous avatars. But in classic Avatar fashion, these difficulties have a lot to do with the situation that's going on, and Kiyoshi has to eventually get over her mental blocks in order to communicate with her past lives. And of course, over the course of the story, she'll have to learn more about Conruk, the previous Avatar that she basically blames for leaving a giant dump on her doorstep, as well as the tragedy that tore him and his friends apart, and how that may be related to the current struggle in the Fire Nation. Oh boy, sounds like a fun time to be Kiyoshi. So, honestly speaking, part of the thing I like about prequels is seeing familiar locations in the past. Pokemon Arceus does this with the Sinnoh region as a whole. We get to see a bit of it in Star Wars, the prequel trilogy, as we get to see the Republic back before it became the Empire. And this series does it pretty well with seeing the past Fire Nation. Considering the fact this takes place over 200 years before the start of the main series, it's cool to see how the countries politically were back in the day compared to how they are at quote-unquote present, even though Korra's the present as of its release and finale. And let's begin another post-Korra series that's not a fan work. Yes, I do know about the fan work series that's coming out. There are like 20 of them. Anyway, as I said, it's really cool to see the political issues of the Fire Nation, a nation that we as fans who watched the original series know as centrally unified under a despot Fire Lord, sort of already broken apart thanks to this clan system. And it's honestly kind of fascinating to look at the situation between the Fire Lord and his half-brother with the clan system involved, as, again, this makes him and his clan the villains of the story. Well, the half-brother, as basically he serves as the main villain, as, he's pushing towards civil war. But he's central to the story, and like most villains in the series, you can't really punch or kick or kill him because that would spark a civil war. So you really have to find a way to deal with him that won't cause civil war to happen. Because, if punching could solve all the problems, this will be over in a heartbeat because Kiyoshi's now a powerhouse. After at least mostly mastering her powers, or abilities as the Avatar. But yeah, it's interesting to see something that we honestly didn't see Aang do much of, navigate the whole political situation. It helps that Aang was in a basic time period of eternal war, so it made it easier to not have to worry about that. But Kiyoshi's in a relative time of peace, despite all the chaos that's going on. So she has to find a way to stop the situation and maintain said peace. It's honestly a pretty good story for Kiyoshi to have to deal with. Considering the fact she's almost the Avatar who'll kill a bitch. Yeah. We also have some more insight into Yoon as he gets a few chapters of himself, or at least prequel chapters, or flashback chapters to explain how he got out of his near-death situation in the last book. Obviously, the kid is pretty messed up from the whole situation. Not only having his life and efforts all proven to be part of a gigantic lie, albeit unintentional lie, but also being tossed aside by his closest mentor and left for dead the literal moment that he was proven to not be the Avatar. Which would basically make anyone mad. He's the ultimate antagonist of the story, as well as him and Kiyoshi's clashing feelings for each other, as Kiyoshi does cling to this idea of trying to save him and get her friend back, but of course she has to let go of such childish concepts and accept the reality, as even Yoon is deluding himself into thinking he doesn't blame Kiyoshi at least a little bit for stealing his role as the Avatar, or his perceived role, which leads to a lot of interesting character drama, as Yoon himself says he's not out to hurt Kiyoshi when everything he's doing is hurting Kiyoshi. Overall, I really enjoyed this one. We're past the origin stages and seeing Kiyoshi acting as the Avatar and dealing with some of the trauma of her past and the trauma of the previous Avatar, and it's all pretty good. Also, it's cool to see the Airbenders back when they were basically a thing. Jinpa, who is, her Airbender assistant, is probably one of the most fun additions to the cast, and I honestly love how the Airbenders are treated, as they're seen as the biggest spiritual leaders, but even Jinpa himself kind of says, oh, I just do whatever because it makes people happy. He's not the most airbender, but it's still pretty cool to see more airbender characters and how they see the world. Also, it's cool to see some more, or at least get some more knowledge of past avatars, such as Avatar Setsu. I hope I pronounced that right. He's the bureaucrat avatar, and I kind of love that about him. Again, if you're a fan of the world of Avatar The Last Airbender, I recommend this book as it's a nice read. And while I like the last book, this one just works a ton better because we're past the origin story and the anticlimax of the first book's ending, which was necessary for this book, but still, this one has a much better finale to its story, if you ask me personally. So, what next? I know they say more Avatar books are coming, more Avatar books and comics are coming, but will we follow more of Kiyoshi's story, or will we follow another Avatar on their adventures? Well, we'll just have to wait and see, and hopefully these books continue to be pretty good to excellent reads. I'm hoping for excellent in all honesty.